Hey, this is Jonathan Grossman again. So now the other question that I get all the time, how many questions should I be doing? How many hours? What should I be doing? So again, this time during the summer, many of you are too focused on how many questions, how fast you're going, and a lot of you will do a lot of questions, a lot of work, but you don't feel like your percentage is really moving forward. Or one day you're at 68% and the next day you're at 55%. So as far as the questions themselves, let's talk for a couple minutes, give you some tips on how to get a little more ahead of the game with the questions and as far as how many questions to be doing each day. First and foremost, when you do a question and make a mistake, don't panic. That's easy for me to say. I know you hate seeing that red light go on. You want to see the green. I get it. So what do you do when you make a mistake? Take a step back and ask yourself the question, why did I make the mistake? And there's two basic reasons you make a mistake on a multiple choice question. You either forgot a piece of the definition or it was a reading comp mistake. Be honest with yourself. That's very difficult to do this time of the year. If I missed a rule, a piece of the rule, an element, I know it's very frustrating because you're thinking, I just knew that this morning, I just knew it yesterday. Well, you obviously forgot it. So go back and put it in your head. Run around the living room, run around the kitchen, recite the law, because what's going to happen? 10, 20, 30 questions from now, you're going to miss the question all over again, and that's why you're stuck in the mud and your numbers don't change. So if you know you made a mistake because of a rule, don't say, yeah, now I got it, let me go do the next one. You're in too much of a hurry to do too many questions. You're trying to keep up with some crazy friend of yours that allegedly is doing more questions and allegedly is scoring 78%. By the way, all those people who post online how great they're doing, they're all lying. They're more insecure and scared than you are. So calm down and get a handle on what you need to do. If you realize you made a mistake because of a rule, go put it back in your head. You realize you made a mistake because you read too fast. Oh, if I just saw that word in paragraph 2. Oh, I can't believe I didn't see they were talking about Bob and not John. Oh, I just need to slow down. Yes, many of you are trying to go too fast. And that's why when you look at the explanations, you realize, oh, if I just saw this, oh, if I just saw that. Now it looks obvious. Slow down and focus on the quality of the questions you're doing. It is much better and more effective to do 25 questions in a day slowly and build some momentum with your confidence in your reading comp than trying to do 50, 60, and all these hundreds of practice exams all of you guys want to do, and you're not really doing any better. Why? Because you're focusing on too many questions, and that only enforces the bad habits that a lot of people have, which is A, reading too fast, getting into the answers before you even know what you're being tested on, looking for the so-called best answer. You want to focus on, what do I say all the time? What's the issue? What are they specifically testing you on per question? If you're trying to do too many too fast, you don't take the time to ask that question. So make sure that you're doing a couple of things each day if you can. Number one, always make sure you're doing a couple of questions. How many is that, John? 3 to 4, 4 to 5. If you're busy, it could be 2 to 3, but a handful, anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 questions in any MBE topic you've already done. If you've reviewed tort 3 weeks ago, but stopped doing tort questions, obviously you're going to get rusty, and that's why you have the roller coaster. So make sure you're always doing a couple of questions in any topic you've already done. Will that slow you down and make you do fewer questions in the topic you're currently studying or doing now? Yes, but you don't want to get to July and again have to go back. And that's also why it's frustrating when your number doesn't change much. Your number doesn't change because you're just making the same mistakes all over again. So a few questions in the earlier topics, you build consistency. You just need to see some of those questions for the third or fourth time. That's how you fix those mistakes. You also go slower in the questions to build up good reading comp. As anyone who's taken the MBE knows, you're already, because of the adrenaline, going to go too fast. So you want to practice slowing down. Focus on your reading now at home or wherever you're doing your questions. So by the time you get to the MBE, you're more focused and you've already practiced. It's more instinctive to slow down and focus on the reading because you're trying to just reduce how many of those, quote, silly reading mistakes that you're making. Quality of the questions you do every day, not how many. There's no magical number that if I do this many, that something good's going to happen. I get calls all the time from people who say, hey, I did 2,000 questions and I still failed. How come? Because you're reading the 2,000 questions badly. That's how come. I think one of the best links on AdaptiBar is the link called Past Questions. On a morning, Saturday or Sunday morning, the weekends are always good because you feel a little less pressure. Go look at the recent mistakes you've made in given topics. Again, to focus on, how come I'm missing some of these questions? Focus on those mistakes first, realize what you're doing, then you'll obviously have that light bulb moment. Oh, I can't believe I kept missing this word. I can't believe I was always picking these wrong answers. Then you study those questions. Study them. Don't let them beat you up. You're using them for an educational purpose, to learn, okay, now that I see what I'm doing, now I can go do the next 20 questions correctly moving forward. Quality of the questions. Don't blow through your question bank in 3 weeks and say, now what do I do? Focus on the quality. Make sure you're doing some questions in the subjects you've already covered, which builds momentum and consistency in your scoring. Focus on how you are reading the questions so you know what answer you're looking for. You're more focused on spotting the issue. And if you build those good habits, it's much more effective to do 20 or 25 and 30 questions more effectively each day than doing 50 or 60 poorly, which also, again, will build your confidence, which we all know is so important on the day of the exam. Later on, there'll be plenty of times to do more questions. But when you're still going through the material and still trying to get comfortable with each topic, focus on the quality of the questions each day. Use your link on there, Past Questions, to focus on those mistakes, build some confidence, and go get them. I wish you a lot of luck.